The Philippine Navy today stands at a crossroads in its modernization journey. After decades of relying on aging vessels, the arrival of the Jose Rizal-class frigates and the commissioning of the first Miguel Malvar-class ship have signaled a shift toward a more capable fleet. Yet with only a handful of modern ships, the Philippines still lacks the numbers and the high-end systems required to patrol its vast, exclusive economic zone and to counterbalance the growing naval presence of China in contested waters. Against this backdrop, the program known as Frigate Batch 2 has emerged as one of the most important defense projects of the decade, one that could define not only the technical capabilities of the Navy, but also the country's broader strategic alignment. The experience of the Jose Rizal-class, ordered from Hyundai Heavy Industries in South Korea, provides a useful reference point. These two ships, delivered in 2020 and 2021, were hailed as a major leap forward, but also criticized for being downgraded compared to their Korean cousins. They carry only a limited vertical launch system, lack close-in weapon systems, and have modest radar capabilities. While far superior to the old Del Pilar-class cutters and Jacinto-class patrol ships they replaced, the Jose Rizal-class highlighted the dangers of cutting too many corners. For Batch 2, the Navy has made clear it wants stronger air defense, larger VLS capacity, and better sensors, along with robust anti-submarine warfare features. The budget, estimated at 28 to 30 billion pesos, or around $500 million US, reflects the scale of this ambition. Two candidates stand out. South Korea, through Hyundai, is offering an upgraded design derived from the HDC 3100 or the latest Incheon-class derivatives. The appeal of the Korean option is obvious. The Philippines has already worked with Hyundai, the logistics and training pipelines are familiar, and costs are likely to be competitive. Choosing Korea would ensure continuity and reduce risks in integrating the ships into the fleet. Yet the memory of the Jose Rizal's limitations lingers, and many in Manila worry that going back to Hyundai could mean repeating a compromised design that fails to deliver the full capability desired. On the other side is Japan, proposing the Mogami-class or 30 FFM frigate. Displacing around 3,900 tons, equipped with stealth shaping, advanced OPY-2 ASA radar, and a 16 to 32 cell vertical launch system, the Mogami-class represents a more sophisticated and modern package. Japan's shipbuilding reputation, combined with its growing security partnership with the Philippines, adds weight to the proposal. Since the signing of the Reciprocal Access Agreement between Manila and Tokyo in 2024, cooperation has deepened, and a frigate deal would symbolize a step change in defense relations. However, Japan has not yet exported a major surface combatant to an ASEAN state. The cost would be significantly higher, and the Philippines would have to establish new training and logistics systems to support the class. Choosing Japan would be a leap into uncharted waters. The decision is therefore about much more than steel and electronics. If Manila selects Hyundai, it signals a preference for practical continuity, cost control, and a trusted supplier. It would fit within the existing South Korea-Philippines defense relationship that already includes FA-50 fighter jets and missile technology. If Manila selects Japan, it signals a strategic bet on Tokyo as a rising security partner, embedding the Philippines more deeply in a US-Japan-Australia triangle of maritime allies. In other words, Frigate Batch 2 is as much a geopolitical choice as it is a procurement one. From a purely operational perspective, the need is undeniable. With only 2 frigates and 1 modern corvette currently at sea, the Navy cannot maintain constant patrols in the West Philippine Sea, let alone counter the Chinese Coast Guard and militia fleets that operate there almost daily. By 2026, when the second Miguel Malvar-class ship enters service, the number will rise to 4. With 2 more from Batch 2, the total could reach 6 by 2030. At that point, the Philippines would, for the first time in its history, have a small but credible surface fleet capable of sustained presence. This is not a blue water navy in the global sense, but for a country of the Philippines' size and resources, it represents a transformation. The technical requirements listed by the Navy underline this point. Area air defense, not just point defense, is a priority. Modern 3D AESA radars are needed to track multiple targets and Q interceptors. A VLS of at least 16 cells is considered the minimum for credible air defense, and integration with anti-ship and land attack missiles is also sought. Anti-submarine warfare, long neglected, is back on the agenda with the need for sonar systems, towed arrays, and helicopters equipped with torpedoes. These capabilities would finally allow the Philippine Navy to field ships that can operate in a contested environment rather than just conducting low-intensity patrols. For the domestic audience, Batch 2 also carries symbolic weight. The Philippines has long been criticized as underinvesting in defense, leaving its sailors with old, hand-me-down vessels while neighbors built modern fleets. The commissioning of new frigates is a source of national pride, a statement that the country is taking sovereignty seriously. For fishermen facing harassment near Scarborough Shoal or the Spratlys, the sight of a modern warship flying the Philippine flag is reassurance that the state is present. For allies, it is proof that Manila is willing to shoulder more of the burden in regional security, rather than depending entirely on U.S. treaty commitments. Yet limitations remain. Even 6 modern ships are few compared to the hundreds of hulls fielded by China, or even the dozens maintained by regional neighbors such as Vietnam and Indonesia. Sustainability, maintenance, and training are as important as initial acquisition, and the Philippines has historically struggled with long-term support. The danger is that without a broader naval support structure, dry docks, logistics, spare parts, the new frigates may suffer from low availability. This is why the choice of supplier matters. South Korea offers tested after-sales support, while Japan might bundle in training and capacity building as part of a strategic package. Looking ahead, the scenarios are clear. If Hyundai is chosen, the Philippines could receive its new ships sooner and at lower cost, building on an existing partnership. The capabilities would improve incrementally, giving the Navy a reliable but not revolutionary boost. If Japan is chosen, the Philippines would likely wait longer and pay more, but the leap in technology and the political alignment with Tokyo could reshape its place in the region. China would undoubtedly react more strongly to a Japanese deal, seeing it as part of a tightening ring of maritime powers in its near seas. Either way, the Philippines will emerge with a stronger navy than it has ever had before. Ultimately, Frigate Batch 2 represents the spine of the Philippine Navy of the 2030s. Missiles like Brahmas provide a sharp spear, but they cannot patrol or escort. Only frigates can fly the flag day after day, showing presence and commitment. The decision therefore carries consequences that extend far beyond the Navy. It is about the nation's identity as a maritime state, its choice of partners, and its willingness to invest in sovereignty. The question is not just which design to buy, but which future to embrace, a steady path with Korea or a bold step with Japan. In the words of many defense analysts, a country cannot choose its geography, but it can choose its friends. With Batch 2, the Philippines is about to make one of the most consequential choices in its modern history.